Vanadium has long been used as an element that will alloy metal, make steel much stronger and much lighter for a given strength. Now, American Vanadium is one way to play this. They say that the HEAT project, a unique project in North America for potentially producing vanadium in the very near future. Now, we got a chance to talk to Ron McDonald. He's the executive chairman of the company. And we started by asking him why investors or potential investors in ABC should be excited about this mineral. Let's have a listen.
It's traditionally an additive to steel, and it makes high-strength, low-alloy steel, and that's basically what's happening. So for about 0.5% or less of vanadium in your steel mix, you get the same strength with about 40% less weight. So you can see you actually use less steel in building buildings. So if you look at what's been going on in the world, China has just changed its building codes, and they're going to require vanadium in all of their rebar for construction on a going-forward basis. So over the next 3 to 5 years, that is going to require about 40% more vanadium globally just to supply that need. So on the traditional side, that's putting some pressure on, and I think the market is starting to watch. The really interesting thing, though, is in storage, and mass-scale storage, grid-level storage, smart grids.
Massive batteries for storing electricity.
Massive batteries for storing electricity, and the leader currently, technology-wise, is what's called a vanadium flow battery. And you need a lot of vanadium to make this thing work. So we've been watching China a lot. I go to China a lot. I believe in China for trends. And China has announced that by 2020, they're going to build out 5% storage to their total electrical generation. That is enormous. So what that tells me is that the revolution has started when it comes over to viable green tech, because the holy grail has been storage, and with vanadium flow batteries and some other technologies, we've been able to resolve that.
It's not a slam dunk, though, is it? Because I see CPM Group in their vanadium market outlook say the vanadium battery technology is extremely promising, but there are prohibitively high costs right now.
Well, I think you're going to see in the next 3 to 9 months, you're going to see a lot of it coming out by companies that are in that field. We're in touch with them almost weekly. There's been big breakthroughs in the membrane, which normally would be about 1/3 of the cost. And so some companies claim that they've driven that cost down by about 80%. But the thing you've got to look at when you look at the cost of a vanadium flow battery is over what lifespan are you looking at the cost? Most batteries are 7 to 10 years, and they basically burn out. A vanadium flow battery has about a 20-year lifespan. And the thing that's really neat about it is the vanadium doesn't degrade, it doesn't burn out.
You can reuse it?
You fill the tank up, and you've got to look after your battery management systems, and you've got to look after your membranes and pumps and things like that. But the reality is that this does not burn out, and it's unique among any of those rare metals.
Let's talk about your company. It's ABC on the venture, American Vanadium, and apparently it's the only big vanadium mine project in the Americas.
It's the only one in the Americas. We will be the only producer. We expect to be in production hopefully sometime in 2014. We're in the middle of permitting right now in Nevada. We've just done a couple of big hires on the environmental side. Ron Espel came to us from Barrick. So he thinks that we've got a good future, and he's a great guy. So we're hoping that we're going to be in production in about 2014. We will be the only producing vanadium property in North America, probably for at least a dozen years.
And you say a very low strip ratio, you don't have to move very much waste. You're saying after the permitting, you could be in production maybe in 6 to 9 months?
6 to 9 months we'll be in production, and then within 6 months of that, we'll be producing product. And what we're doing, we're using a heap leach technology similar to what they do in gold. So it's a very unique project. The deposit is unique in the world. It's already highly oxidized. It's in a shale. It's not in a hard rock. So we don't have any metallurgical issues. It's very easy to get it off the hill. It's Fisher-Price mining is what I call it. It's trucks and earth movers and things like that.
Pretty straightforward open pit, and you just get it out.
It's very straightforward. You just shake off the hill, you put it on the heap leach, and eventually when you get it all out, you put it back over on another hill.
But have you released a feasibility study yet?
Yes, we've got our feasibility study out since September. It's the bankable feasibility. That feasibility study was only based on the steel sector, and that would show us having a 43.3% return on initial investment. So it's quite high. It's very robust. But we know that the pressures that are going to be coming on vanadium supply for these flow batteries is probably going to put a significant price pressure on as well. And we're okay with that.
And just finally, Rob, we've only got about 10 seconds. How much money will you have to raise to build that mine?
To build build the mine, it's not a lot. It's about $93 million. Total to cash positive, about $130 million.
And have you any offtake agreements yet, or do you plan to announce any?
We've got a unique business plan. We're going to be making vanadium electrolyte. We're not going to sell it because it doesn't burn out. We've got a leasing model that so we're going to be leasing the vanadium long term, hopefully to some of the world's biggest batteries.
You're going to lease it because it basically doesn't get destroyed.
It doesn't get destroyed, and that will be the highest best value for my shareholders.
Fascinating stuff. Thanks very much.
My pleasure.
Ron MacDonald, the chairman of American Vanadium. Well, there you